Welcome to Saturday Morning Power Yoga. So today we are going to focus again, finishing up our series on the chakras on Ajna. Ajna is the third eye chakra. So the way that you might find that chakra, if you will, or even activate it is you can just lick your tongue on your index finger and then just place it in the center of your eyebrows. And just immediately take note of the effect of that on drawing your attention to that part of the body, to that chakra. It's really quite amazing. That's a pressure point also. So it's a good place to place your finger lightly if you've got a headache. If you're having a hard time concentrating or focusing. So this chakra is all about seeing with clarity, seeing through things, seeking your wisdom, trusting in your wisdom, trusting in your own intuition. So that's what Ajna is all about. And so what you're going to find today is that we're going to do a few poses that are concentrating, concentration building, but also poses where you place your head against things to draw attention to this chakra in the middle of your eyebrows. So it actually connects to the pineal gland, which is somewhere in the middle of the brain. So tracing your fingers back to the top of your ears and then kind of going into the center from there is actually where you will locate this chakra, where that gland is located. And it governs our circadian rhythms. It governs our production of our sleep hormones. And so this chakra in good balance should actually contribute to a good night of sleep for people, but also should contribute to good concentration when you are awake. So I think this chakra governs me and how I operate in the world a lot more than I give it credit for, because a lot of times I am quite distracted into various things. And that's kind of a sign of an ajna that's out of balance, kind of avoiding the present task and escaping into other things, whatever those other things are. And so that's also a sign to bring it back into balance, using the breath, using some visualization. So go ahead and bring your shoulders up to the ears. And then exhale, bring them back down and stack your shoulders over your hips as we find our first pose to concentrate on the breath and center ourselves for the day. Breathe in and out of your nose, expanding and contracting the belly. And take your fingers, your forefingers and your thumbs together like in a circle, like, okay. Turn your hands upside down, straighten out your elbows, draw your shoulders back and down, and place your hands on top of your knees. This is the mudra of wisdom. Mudras can be a powerful way to challenge your energies and to remind you of what it is you're focusing on. Continue to breathe in and out, drawing your attention toward that space between the eyebrows, the third eye. And begin to turn inward. Draw your attention inward. Try to crowd out the noises that may be around you. The noises that might be around you in this physical world are a metaphor for the noises that are around us on the inside, So this chakra also, in governing our intuition, we often call that intuition that small voice inside of us, the one that's talking to us and coaching us, our own personal coach, Jiminy Cricket, right? But we can't hear that voice if we're listening to all the other noise in the world. And Monday night, I spoke about this and spoke about how the noise in the world often is all the chatter that fills our brain. It can be a large to-do list. It can be schoolwork that's weighing down on us. It can be ideals of what we're supposed to be like in this space that we're in. It can be criticisms that we've internalized from other people. It can be lots of things that crowd it out. There can be times in our lives that we were taught not to listen to that voice. And so we have to practice getting to know that internal voice, getting to know our intuition, learning to trust in ourselves. Let's go ahead right before we start our asanas today, and let's do a breathing exercise to help bring clarity to this part of the face. So take your fingers and just drop them down. We've done this before. This is that alternate nostril breathing that we've done before. So you've got your thumb out to one side, your pinky out to the other, and all of your fingers are pressed down against your palm. You can leave your ring finger up if you want, because it's kind of hard to get that one down, but it's just that I want your pinky and your thumb free. And what we're going to do is we're going to exhale out of the left nostril, and then inhale through that nostril and exhale out of the right, and then inhale through the right. And we're going to go back and forth about 5 or 10 times. And then our final exhale will be out of the left nostril. And you might remember that what this breath brings to you, this is called Nadi Shodhana. So we have channels of energy in the body. That's what Nadi means. It also means flow. So energy flows up and down these channels throughout the body. And then Shodhana means to clear them out. So we're balancing and we're clearing them out. And by doing that, we bring clarity to this region of the brain so that you can focus on ajna. So take your thumb and place it against your right nostril. Go ahead and exhale out of the left. And then inhale. Switch sides, placing your pinky on your left nostril. Exhale out of the right. And then inhale. Switch sides and place your thumb against your right nostril. Exhale out of the left. And then inhale. Switch sides, place your pinky against your left nostril. Exhale out of the right. Inhale. Switch sides, cover your right nostril with your thumb. Exhale out of the left. Inhale. Switch sides, cover your left nostril. Exhale out of the right. Inhale. Switch sides, cover your right nostril. Exhale out of the left. Inhale. Switch sides, cover your left nostril. Exhale out of the right. Inhale. Switch sides, cover your right nostril. Exhale out of the left. Inhale. Switch sides, cover the left. Exhale out of the right. Inhale. Switch sides, cover the right. Exhale out of the left. We'll do this one last round. Exhale. Inhale. Switch sides, cover the left nostril. Exhale out of the right. Inhale. And then switch sides, cover the right, and exhale out of the left. Go ahead and drop your hands. Take a moment with that mudra to observe the impact of doing that balancing breathing, that nadi shodhana breathing, on your concentration and your ability to focus on your third eye. So maintaining that concentration throughout the practice, I really want you to focus on your third eye. And I want you to focus on a mantra. Just peppering it in your mind throughout the practice. And a common mantra is, I see. Another one that you can use is, I trust my intuition. Or you can even say, I trust myself. Or I trust my judgment. All of those things are acceptable, but they're all self-affirming. And I would like you, while we're practicing today, to affirm in your mind that you can see and that you have good instincts and you have good intuition and you can trust yourself. Okay, so let's go ahead and find our standing point on the mat. So we can go ahead and place, if you have something you were sitting on, you can place it off to the side. Let's find our Tadasana. So remember our Tadasana, we're stacking our shoulders over our hips, pulling our shoulders back and down, and allowing our head to move back into the same plane and space as our shoulders and our hips. Draw your belly button in, draw your waist sideways up. So you're kind of lifting up your heart center, which lifts up the ribs and brings strength to this entire area and allows freedom of breath and movement, allowing energy to move up and down the spine. Inhale our hands up, maintaining that length. Draw your crown up to the sky as you drop your hands down. Inhale your hands up. Exhale your hands down. And then inhale your hands up again. And then exhale, let's swan dive forward. You can go ahead and bend your legs on that first one. I'll turn to the side so you can see. And we're just kind of starting to open up our legs and our back for the day. So bend your legs if that's fine. You don't have to draw your chest all the way down yet. Inhale into a flat spine, pushing against your shins. Exhale down. Inhale your hands all the way up. And then exhale, bring them to heart center. Inhale. Exhale our hands down, then inhale our hands up, and then exhale, swan dive forward, hands to the ground, drop the crown. Inhale into a flat spine, exhale back down again. Inhale our hands all the way up, and then exhale back, hands at heart center. One more inhale. Exhale our hands down, inhale our hands up, and then exhale, swan dive forward, hands to the ground, drop the crown. I think I'm going to kind of do everything from the side today so that you can see better. Go ahead and place your hands on the floor, move back into your first plank pose of the day. So while you're in plank, draw your heart center forward as you allow your heels to pull back, pulling your belly button up to the spine, drawing the crown of your head forward. So this is our first heat building pose of the day. Move back a little bit so I don't hit my block on my mat. One more inhale, and then exhale, drop your knees, pull your elbows into your ribs, drop your heart center to the mat so you're like in caterpillar, and then draw your heart forward, laying your body on the mat. Go ahead and move into Sphinx pose, our first little back bend of the day, placing your elbows firmly underneath the shoulders. Draw your shoulders away from your ears and down your back, encouraging a slight back bend. Focusing more on the drawing down and drawing your heart center forward than rising your heart center up. Maybe go ahead and lift your face up. I feel the sun touching my skin. The air is kind of cool, starting to develop a fall crisp. It smells really good outside. And yes, there's some noise with the traffic, but I feel like I can concentrate. As long as you can hear, that's all good. And then exhale, go ahead. Push your forehead on the mat. Just reminding you about Ajna. Place your hands under your shoulders, pull your hips back, moving into child's pose. Place your big toe mounds together, place your forehead on the mat again. Remember that child's pose, you can always return back to child's pose whenever you need to reconnect with your breath, whenever you need to get your heart rate to go back down. I know that, hi sweetie, look who's come to visit. How are you? That is, they call her Wolfie. How you doing, sweetheart? And she's coming to visit me, and I always love it when you come to visit me during, yes, and there she goes. Plus, let's do a little bit of twist while we're down on the ground. Take our right hand up to the ceiling and then exhale, thread it underneath our left arm, laying our right shoulder across the ground. Your knees are wide, you're opening up the hips while we do this. And if you want to increase the twist, just push your hands together and pull your left shoulder back a little bit. Go ahead and rise up, switch sides, reach out in front again. Forehead on the mat, reminding you of Ajna, of our focus today, of the chakra of Ajna. Take our left arm up to the sky, exhale, thread it underneath the right, and lay across your left shoulder. Place your hands together, and to increase your twist, go ahead and just push your right shoulder back. Pushing your hands together, drawing your right shoulder back. Very good. Go ahead and place your hands out in front. Place your forehead on the mat again. Let's go ahead. Rise up into tabletop. So we're going to do a couple of strengthening poses in tabletop before we move into our downward facing dog and move into our first sun salutation sequence. So first of all, placing your hands firmly underneath your shoulders, widen your collarbones, draw your belly button in. Hips are firmly on top of your knees. Go ahead and lift up your left leg, lift up your right hand, pull your arm into your shoulder socket, pull your hip bone or your leg bones into your hip socket, draw your belly button in. And as you're doing that, you're creating extension of those limbs at the same time. So you have two opposing forces. You've got the centralizing of your strength into the center of your core while at the same time extending your limbs out. Your left toes are facing the mat, your fingers are reaching forward, your leg is straight and strong, using the strength of your hamstrings to lift up your leg. Inhale, and then exhale, place your right hand down, place your left knee down, raise up your right leg, toes facing the ground, lift up your left arm, pull your arm back into the shoulder, pull your leg into the hip, drawing your belly button up to the spine, and then creating your extension of your limbs out from your strong center core. Inhale, exhale. One more inhale. Exhale, place your left hand down, right knee down. Now we're going to take another variation of that. So lift up your left foot, lift up your right hand. We're going to go into what we call awkward airplane, where you take your right hand, bring it perpendicular to the body, take your left foot and do the same thing, bringing it forward. So your left leg is lifted off the ground, your toes are pointed forward. Your hand is pulled to the right and your palm is facing backwards. And this strengthens your hip, this strengthens your core, and it really challenges you to maintain good alignment. One more inhale. Exhale, bring your left foot back, bring your right hand forward, place both back down. Lift up your right leg, lift up your left hand, inhale. Exhale, bring the left hand back as you bring your right hip foot forward, creating a line from your ankle to your wrist, creating a letter T or a cross with your body. Continue working on rising that leg using the muscles on the outside of the leg and the hip. Keep your heart center up instead of falling down, drawing your belly button up against the spine. One more inhale. Exhale, place your right hand forward or left hand forward, right foot back. Drop both your hand and your knee. Let's go into a cow-cat. Inhale up into cow. Exhale, reversing that, drawing your spine to the sky. Exhale into cat. Inhale into cow. Exhale into cat. Inhale one more time into cow. Exhale back into neutral. We're going to go back to that sunbird pose again, but now we're going to open up our heart center. So bring our left foot back, bring our right hand forward. One more inhale. And then exhale, reach back, grab your right foot, grab your left foot with your right hand. Kick your left foot into your hand. Open up your heart center as you arch your back. First true arch of the day. Lifting up out of your left shoulder as you kick your left foot back into your right hand. One more inhale. Exhale, straighten that out. And then place both your hand and your knee back on the floor. Lift up your right leg, lift up your left hand. Inhale. Exhale, reach back, grab your right foot with your left hand, kicking that left foot back into your hand as you arch your back. Open up the heart center, open up that left shoulder. One more inhale. Exhale, straighten out the right leg and the left arm. Place the hand and the right knee. Inhale into cow. Exhale into cat. One more inhale into cow. And then exhale into cat. Now let's take a twist. Place our right hand right underneath our sternum on the mat. Take our left hand up to the sky. Just holding that for a moment, keeping your hips stationary. Maybe even move them slightly to the right to keep them squared off. One more inhale. Exhale, place your left hand on the mat where your right hand is, right underneath the sternum. Lift your right hand up. Draw your hips slightly to the left to keep them squared off. Hi, Arya. Inhale, and then exhale. Place that back down. Go ahead and tuck your toes, and let's move into our first downward facing dog of the day. So you might keep your legs deeply bent to start, pushing the mat away with your hands as you rise your hips up to the sky, creating a nice line from your sits bones all the way to your wrists, drawing your heart center into the mat. Go ahead and start walking, pedaling out your feet. And then go ahead and rise up on the inhale, high up on your tippy toes. And then on the exhale, go ahead and allow your heels to descend. Inhale, rise up the heels. Exhale, allow them to descend. Inhale, rise up those heels. Exhale, descend them down. Inhale. And then on the exhale, take as many steps as you choose, walking your feet all the way up to your hands. When you arrive at the top of your mat, go ahead and inhale into a flat spine, drawing your hands against your shins to create a nice long spine, drawing the crown of your head forward. Exhale down. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale. Exhale your hands down. Inhale your hands up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Hands to the ground. Drop your crown. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhale down. Let's go ahead back into that plank pose. And this time, let's raise our right leg up. So you're in this plank, and it's like a three-legged plank. Lifting up your right leg as high as you can, which isn't very high, honestly, because you're using the muscles on the back of your leg to rise it up while your toes are pointing towards the mat. One more inhale. Exhale, keep that leg risen as you lower Chaturanga Dandasana, and then rise up into upward facing dog. Exhale, back into downward facing dog. Push your dog back as far as feels good to you. Pushing the mat away, drawing your shoulders down your back and away from your ears. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, go ahead and take as many steps as you want, walking up to your hands at the top of the mat. Inhale into a flat spine, exhale down. Inhale, rise all the way up, reverse swan dive. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, swan dive forward, placing your hands on the mat, drop your crown. Inhale into a flat spine, exhale, your hands down. Let's move back into a plank again, only now this time, left leg is risen. So you're in a strong three-legged plank, lifting up your left leg, strengthening your right thigh at the same time. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. One more inhale, exhale, lower chaturanga dandasana. Inhale into upward facing dog. Exhale into downward facing dog. First strength poses of the day. Go ahead and walk your feet out to catch your breath. Inhale, rise your right leg up. Exhale, knee to nose as you bring your foot all the way through, dropping your left leg as we move into a low lunge, first of the day. Go ahead and just rise your heart center. Use this opportunity to open up your left hip. Inhale, exhale, tuck your left toes, bring your left toes forward to join your right. Inhale into a flat spine, exhale down, inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale into heart center with your hands, inhale. Exhale, hands down, inhale your hands up, exhale, swan dive forward. Take that same left foot, bring it back, drop your knee, inhale your hands up, and then sink your hips low. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, hands down, framing either side of the right foot. Tuck your left toes and bring your right foot back to downward facing dog. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, rise up your left foot, bring it forward, knee to nose. In between the hands, drop your right knee, bringing your hands back to frame your heel area, rising up your heart center. Allow your right hip to drop as we start to open up our right hip. One more inhale. Exhale, tuck your right toes, lift up your knee and bring your right foot forward to join your left. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhale down. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale. Exhale, your hands down. Inhale, your hands up. Exhale, all the way down. Bring your right foot back. Drop your knee again for Anjaneyasana. Rise up. Sink your hips forward as you curl back into this little micro bend. Inhale. Exhale, bring your hands to frame your left foot. Tuck your right toes. Bring your left foot back to downward facing dog again. Inhale. Exhale, pushing it back. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, rise up your right leg. Exhale, bring knee to nose. Inhale, rise up your right leg. Exhale, cross the body. Left knee to left elbow. Right knee to left elbow. Inhale, rise up your right leg. Bring your right knee to your right elbow. Inhale, rise it up again. Exhale, knee to nose as you bring it all the way through. And we'll go ahead and rise up in a higher lunge. Yay. Inhale. Exhale, draw your shoulders down as you curl your upper back backwards, sinking those hips. Inhale. Exhale. I have a creative move for you. Inhale, rise your hands up. And on the exhale, keeping this knee bent, bring your left leg forward into the chair. Ha. Go ahead and sink down into your chair pose. Moving back into your heels. Inhale. Exhale, sinking your hips down. Inhale. Exhale. One more inhale. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhale down. Inhale, rise your hands all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Hands to the mat. Move back into Palakasana, plank pose. Inhale. Exhale, lower chaturanga dandasana. Inhale into upward facing dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. Inhale, bring your left leg high up into the air. Exhale it to the nose. Inhale, high up into the air. Exhale, crossing the body to the right elbow with your knee. Inhale, high up into the air. Exhale, knee to your left elbow. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, knee to nose as you bring it forward into Anjaneyasana. High lunge. Rise up your hands and then start to sink your hips. Inhale, rise your hands up. Exhale, curl back as you pull your shoulders down your back and away from your ears. Inhale, bring your hands up. Exhale, sink your hips low. One more inhale. On the exhale, bend your left leg and bring your right foot to join your left in chair. Inhale. Exhale, move back into the heels so that you can see your toes sitting down in your chair. Inhale. Exhale. One more inhale. Exhale. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, circle your hands down into prayer pose. Inhale. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, your hands up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhale, moving back into plank pose, Palakasana, lower chaturanga dandasana, and inhale into upward facing dog. Exhale into downward facing dog. Go ahead and catch your breath. 5 long breaths here in downward facing dog. That was 3 breaths. Let's do 2 more. Inhale. Exhale, pushing the mat away. Inhale. Exhale, pushing that mat away. One more inhale. Exhale. Bend your knees and either walk or hop up to the front of the mat. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhale down. Let's drop into chair again. Rise our hands up. Exhale, bring hands to heart center. Now you can stay here at heart center, or you can take the twist. So I'm going to inhale, and then I'm going to exhale, twist to the left. So I'm going to lower my torso down on my legs, take my left elbow to the outside of my right leg, and then start to engage the twist by pushing my hands together. If you want, you can open it up, placing your left hand on the ground, right hand to the sky. Lowering your hips even more if you do that. One more inhale. Exhale, bring your hands back up to heart center. Take your left foot back and open up into warrior 2. Ah, look at that. Here we are, arriving at warrior 2. This is Saturday Power Yoga. We want to make these strength poses. Inhale. Exhale, looking out over the middle of your right hand, drawing your both of your arms back in space, pulling your shoulder blades together. Drop your hips and bend your right knee even more. One more inhale. And on your exhale, let's move back into peaceful warrior. So in peaceful warrior, we're taking our left hand on our mat. Another option you have is taking your arm and wrapping it around, grabbing your upper thigh and engaging a little bit of a bind while you bring your right hand overhead and curl backwards, opening up your whole right side. Keep your hips sinking low. One more inhale. And then on the exhale, let's go ahead and move into extended side angle. You can place your right arm on your leg, or you can even have it to the ground, hand up to the sky or alongside your ear. to create a nice dart-like look and extend your whole left side body. Drop your hips by bending your right knee more deeply. Reaching out in front of you, drawing your left shoulder back at the same time, spiraling your heart center up to the ceiling or the sky. Inhale, exhale. One more inhale, and then exhale, circle your hand down and back up as we rise up into warrior two. Inhale, and then exhale, circle your hands down. Pivot up on top of your toes. Move your right foot back to join your left. Inhale. Exhale, lower Chaturanga Dandasana and inhale into upward facing dog. Exhale into downward facing dog. We're gonna set up on the next side. One more inhale. Exhale, bend your legs, either walk or hop up to the top of the mat into chair pose again. Inhale, rise your hands up, sit back in your chair. Inhale. Exhale, take your hands to heart center. You may keep them there if you want. Or you can take a twist. So inhale, exhale, fold over your legs, turn to the left, clipping your right elbow on the outside of your left knee, drawing your shoulder back. If you want to, you can open it up, which means sinking the hips even lower. Drawing your left hand up into space, drawing your left shoulder back. One more inhale. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center, rising up. Now we're gonna open up to the left. You're gonna see the back of my body as we do this. So we're actually opening up to the right. Take your right foot back, moving back into warrior two. Virabhadrasana 2. Go ahead and adjust your feet in any way that you need to, but remember to bend your left knee deeply, pulling your belly button into the spine, looking out over your left fingertips, drawing your shoulder blades together on the spine. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Go ahead and reverse that to peaceful warrior. And if you want, take your arm in the bind and then curl backwards, opening up the left side. I have the sun kissing me right now. One more inhale. And then on the exhale, we're moving into extended side angle. You can place your left forearm on your knee or place it all the way to the floor. Rising your right hip up. I'm gonna straighten out my leg just briefly. Rising your right arm up, sinking your hips low. Bringing your right arm, if you choose, alongside your right ear. Draw your right shoulder back. One more inhale. Exhale, circle your hand down and back up into warrior two. Inhale, and then exhale, framing your left foot. Placing your hands on the mat, bring your left foot back to join your right. Inhale, exhale, lower Chaturanga Dandasana, and then inhale into upward facing dog. Exhale into downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Savasana. And then just go ahead and breathe. One more inhale. Exhale. Go ahead and drop to child's pose so that you can catch your breath a little bit more. Drop your forehead to the mat. While you've been going through these asanas, which are challenging this morning, are they helping you turn inward? Are they helping you find your inner strength? Are they helping you to find clarity? One more inhale. Exhale, tuck your toes, moving back into downward facing dog again. Go ahead and rise your right leg up as high as you choose to go. Bring knee to nose. As you bring your hands, your foot forward onto your hands, rise up into warrior two. Take a breath, and on the exhale, straighten out your right leg. Let's go ahead and go back into that peaceful warrior again with straight legs, just reaching for the sky with your right hand, stretching out this side body. One more inhale. And on your exhale, go ahead and move that right hand forward as we descend into triangle pose. In triangle, make sure that you are rotating your thigh bones inside of the hip socket. So you're using your spiraling your inner thigh up to the sky so that your kneecap is facing up. And you accomplish that by actually rotating the leg inside of the hip socket. And one way that you can imagine you're doing that is sort of dropping the outside of your thigh bone down as you're lifting up the inside. Push your back against that imaginary wall behind you, opening up the heart center. One more inhale. Go ahead and exhale back into a lunge, setting up for a bind if you choose. You can stay in that triangle the way you want to, or I'm going to go ahead and engage the bind by wrapping my right hand underneath my left and grabbing my hands behind. And then I'm going to start to draw my left shoulder back as I straighten out my right leg, pulling back into that bind. One more inhale, and then exhale. Go ahead and rise up. Let's switch sides. Place our left leg, left toes to the back of the mat. Our right edge of our right foot is parallel to the back side, to the front side of the mat. Go ahead and bend your leg deeply into warrior. Feel like you're set up in warrior tongue. And then go ahead and straighten out your left leg and tilt backwards into that peaceful warrior. Right hand on the right leg. Reaching your left hand for the sky. Stretch ahead. Bring your left arm forward and down as you descend into triangle. And in triangle, once again, rotate your left thigh. Rotate the bone inside of the hip socket so that your kneecap is facing the sky. Draw your right shoulder back as you press your back to that imaginary wall behind you. Open up your heart center. One more inhale. If you care to join me in the bind, go ahead and bend your left leg slightly. Take your left arm and circle it underneath your left thigh and bring your right hand back to join it. Go ahead and straighten out now. As I draw my right shoulder back, straightening out my left leg into this bound triangle. Baddha Trikonasana. Drawing back, draw back. One more inhale. And then exhale. Drop our left hand to the floor, back to triangle, and then exhale, rise up. And then let's go ahead. We're going to keep our feet in that same orientation. And we're going to do some wide-legged forward folds, Prasarita Uttanasana. But why don't we go into Goddess before we do that? So go ahead, turn your heels in as you turn your toes out, tilt your tailbone forward, and then bend your legs. Bend them as far as you feel comfortable. Make sure that your knees are trailing back towards your toes. You can keep your hands on your thighs and just focus on drawing your heart center back as you drop your tailbone to the ground. Or if you want, you can take Goddess arms, placing your middle finger to your thumb, flicking your wrist so that your palm of your hand is facing the sky. Elbows might be dropping below shoulder level or about shoulder level, shining your heart center up to the sky. using those muscles right by your tailbone, drawing them together to widen your legs. There's a lot going on here. Inhale. Exhale, continue to draw your shoulder blades together on your back and rising up your heart center. Inhale. Exhale, go ahead and straighten out into star. That feels good. Turn your toes forward. Still keeping that wide-legged stance. Inhale. And then exhale, go ahead and forward fold. Hands out to the side. Have your sits bones gravitating towards the sky, moving your weight into the front of your feet. Go ahead and make a circle with your index fingers and circle it around your thumbs. Drawing your elbows out to the side. Drawing your hip bones up to the sky. Your sits bones actually. Drawing your heart center down. Keeping your shoulder blades together so that you have a nice, long extended spine. And all of the stretch should be on your hamstrings only. As you feel comfortable, you might bring the crown of your head to the floor. Continuing to work your sits bones up into the sky. Bring your elbows out to the side as you draw your shoulder blades together on your spine. Very nice. Inhale. Exhale. When we are in inverted poses like this, we can focus on the third eye. We can turn inward. We can turn off the noise. One more inhale. And then exhale. Place your hands in the center of the mat. Rise up into a flat spine. Exhale, allow your crown to drop again. Place your hands on your hips, drawing your elbows together as you draw your spine. Inhale, rise up. Isn't that wonderful? Go ahead and just kind of bring your feet together at standing at the top of the mat. So I have two standing poses for you today that are indeed designed to focus on the third eye, focus on concentrating, focus on seeing. So I'm going to start with the hardest one first, the one that requires the most strength in your legs. Let's go into eagle pose. So first sit down into chair, okay? Then take your right leg, cross it over your left. You can leave it hanging on the outside or you can clip your toes behind your left calf. Find your center by sinking even lower. Keep your heart center rising up, pulling your shoulder blades down your spine and together. And then go ahead and create those eagle or those robot arms we always talk about. Your right arm underneath your back, bringing your palms of your hands together. Continue to pull your shoulder blades back as you raise up your elbows. Find a fixed point off into the distance and just focus on that fixed point. Oops, see, I just fell out. I'm just gonna stay like this for now. Inhale, and then exhale. Let's go ahead and rise out of that. Bring our hands up. Exhale our hands to heart center. Place our hands down. Sit back again as we set up for the easier other side. Sitting all the way back. Exhale, bring your left foot up. Crossing your left leg over your right. You can leave your right leg hanging down, or if it's available, clip your toes behind your left calf. Go ahead and sink down even more. Create those robot arms, wrapping your left arm underneath your right, pulling our hands together, pulling our shoulders back and down as we lift up our elbows. Again, find a fixed point. Calm the mind, slow down the breathing, and focus. One more, inhale. Exhale, drop your hands, unravel your legs. Inhale your hands up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Drop your hands down. Now we're going to set up for tree pose. I know you like tree pose. So remember, on tree pose, there are several variations. One is you can have your toes on the ground, your heel at the top of your ankle, so the arch of your foot, framing the ankle with your toes on the ground for support. Another option is just lift your toes off the ground entirely so that your toes are alongside the inside of your foot. Your heel is still on top of your ankle. Your foot is framing the ankle. The next option is to go to your calf muscle, using your calf muscle as a natural resting spot for your foot, right? Having your foot framing the calf muscle, using the strength of these muscles here on the outside of your hip, your gluteus muscles, to draw your knee back in space, pulling your belly button up against the spine. The third variation is to rise it up to the top of the thigh and do the same thing with the muscle energy, only to maintain this position even more, you're going to push your right foot into your left leg and your left leg into your right foot. So concentrating your energy isometrically, pulling it all together. So those are the three variations we have. Go ahead and stay up in triangle, in tree pose, Vrksasana, as long as you would like. You can use this time to choose any arm variation of your want. So you can leave your hands at prayer. I've got the wind pushing against me. You can rise your hands up like into a tree, branches of the tree. So a V shape with your arms. You can bring them overhead into prayer. Remembering to draw your shoulders back and down. You can circle your hands down if you want, and you can do reverse prayer on the back. It's all about individual desire. One more inhale. And then exhale, drop your right foot down. Shake out your left leg. Now we're going to set up on the other side. So plant your right foot. Go ahead and take your heel to the top of your ankle. Feet on the ground if that's your first chosen pose. Or you can point your toes towards the ground but not touching. Second variation. Third variation, forming or framing your calf muscle with your foot, using the muscles on the outside of your hip to draw that knee back in space. Final variation, bringing your leg all the way to the top of the thigh. Pushing foot into thigh, thigh into foot. Again, drawing your shoulders back and down. Pulling the belly button up against the spine. Pulling your ears and shoulders away from one another. And then you may choose any arm variation of your choosing. So we have the branches of a tree. We can have prayer at the top of the head. You can even make it like goddess arms. Again, remembering to draw your shoulders back and down. You can have reverse prayer, hands, edge hands against your back, thumbs pointing away from you. Again, drawing your shoulders back and down. Inhale. And then exhale, go ahead with control. Drop your left foot. And go ahead and shake it all out. So those are two very nice concentrating poses. I see somebody is sending me a text, so let me just go ahead and clear that. Oh, it's my son. Well, I can't do anything about it while I'm in class. Okay, so let's go ahead and make our way down to the floor. Instead of doing fancy movements to get there. Let's be really and just drop to our knees, however you want to get there. But before we go there, let's go ahead and be up on our toes. So draw our legs together, feet together, and sit up high on our toes. And try to really extend your feet if you can, so that you are balancing just on your big toe mounds and using the strength of your legs and your ankles to hold you in this position. And then go ahead and drop your hands down to the floor. Separate your legs and let's move into Malasana garland pose. Go ahead, opening up the hips, dropping the tailbone, rising up the heart center while you're doing this. So this position I'm in today is flatter than in the past, but it is a little bit noisier. So what I might do next time is have the camera framing me against those stairs at the back of the shop, because they're really cute. And it's kind of flat there too. And have the camera framing me over there, because maybe there will be a little bit more insulation from the noise if I've got my back to the building and not to the traffic. Hopefully it hasn't been too loud. I think you're following. I'm watching you on the camera and you look good. So I know that you can hear my instructions and my cues. Let's go ahead. If you want to and engage a twist, you can place your left hand on the mat. Rise your right hand up. If you want to take the bind, you can just wrap your left arm behind your left leg, your right arm behind your back. Grab your hands and then sit up. And then let's go ahead and unwind if you've taken the bind. Place our right hand on the mat. Take our left hand up to the sky. If you want to take the bind, wrap your right hand behind your right leg, left hand behind the back, grabbing your hand as you twist to the left. Nice. Let's return back to that prayer in Malasana. This is quite a way to start to chill down. So let's go ahead, sit back on our booty, place our feet forward, and go ahead and lift up out of that. In fact, lift out for a minute, just feeling the space you create by allowing your tailbone to just drop to the ground and not be sitting on the ground. And then go ahead and sit up. Sit up nice and tall in staff pose. Remember, we've talked about staff, how in staff pose, what we're going for is, it's just like being in Tadasana, only our shoulders, we're just sitting in this letter L shape, but our shoulders are just as well stacked over our hips as if we were standing up, moving our head back in space. Go ahead and rise your hands up, and then exhale, hinge forward at the hips, reaching for the front of your mat. So you can reach up high or you can drop your hands. You can grab your feet if you want, but continue to move your heart center forward, moving your sits bones back in space. One way to help this along is to take your hands and kind of place them on your toes, fingers facing your soles of your feet. Bend your elbows towards your knees as you draw your heart center forward. And in doing so, you feel a nice stretch along the back of your legs without a stretch along the lower back. And if you want, you can lay down like I'm going to. It's up to you. Go ahead and rise up. Take your right foot, place it against the inside of your left thigh. We're going to do the same thing, only just one-legged. Inhale, and then exhale, fold forward. If it's available to you, you can clasp your hands together on the outside of your left foot, or you can just reach for your ankle or your knee, whatever works for you. Inhale, rise up. Let's switch sides. Right foot out in front, left foot in against your right thigh. Inhale, your hands up. Exhale, fold forward. Go ahead and rise up. Let's take our feet together in Baddha Konasana. So you can have your feet as close to your body as you choose, or you can have them a little further out. Whichever you choose, what I want is for your shoulders to be brought back and down on your spine. And sometimes in reaching for our feet, we're not really able to achieve that. So if you're going to compromise your shoulders, my recommendation is just grab your ankles, pulling your elbows back toward your ribs, pulling your shoulders back and down, allowing your legs to fall open at their natural way. We can't force our body to open. We got to work with good mechanics and allow extension to follow. I'm on a lot of yoga groups where people talk about how to coach their students in their classes, and that's always my ground rule. Have the proper alignment, have the base, have the strength, and then allow your extension to follow. Trust me, it will, with consistency and with time. But when you do it this way, you're keeping the integrity of your body, of how it's meant to move, and you're being honest with yourself, and you're avoiding injury. A lot of people hurt themselves in yoga because they try to do things. They try to open up without that strength to accompany it, and they can really loosen up their ligaments over time in such a way that they no longer are supportive of their joints. So you don't want to do that. You always want to accompany strength and then extension. And as you achieve extension, a lot of times you get a lot stronger. But if you don't do it the right way, with the right alignment, it doesn't accomplish what you're wishing for. If you want to, you can go ahead and start to fold forward. You can use your elbows to further open up your knees if you want. Continue to draw the crown of your head forward as you draw your heart center down. So instead of curling down into it, continue to draw your shoulders back and down as you draw the crown of your head forward. One more inhale. And then exhale, go ahead and rise up. Ha! Let's go ahead and place our hands behind us, remaining in Baddha Konasana as we lift our heart center up to the sky. Drawing our shoulders back and down, lifting it up. And then exhale, let's go ahead and draw our knees together. Keep our feet up nice and high. Let's do that again. Lifting up our heart center with our knees facing the sky. And then let's go ahead and do seated pigeon today instead of laying down pigeon. So move your feet out just a little bit. Take your right foot and cross it over your left leg. Flex your foot and bring your toes back towards your knee. So right now I'm enough for you. And sometimes it's what we do is we kind of do this in phases. So first we start out, you know, with the toes drawing back. Side, it's just opening up the hips. By rising the heart center up, you might increase the stretch on the outside of your right hip. Then you can start to bring your left foot in, and then you sit with that for a minute. So each time you make an adjustment, you just sit with it. Allow your body to naturally adjust and open up. And then when you feel ready, move your leg in a little bit closer. So this is my less open hip. I always feel this more intensely on my right side. And I pay attention to that sensation. because if I go too far, too fast, I can really do some damage to my labrium and my other soft tissues that support my hip joint. And I've heard that labrium tears are one of the most painful things. And depending on the severity of the tear, they oftentimes have to do surgery. And here's something to know about ligaments and other soft tissues around the joints. They don't have a lot of blood supply. So they don't heal very quickly. You know, if you've ever known anybody that ever tore their Achilles tendon or had an it take years to ever completely heals. So you really want to avoid those kinds of injuries because they can stop you in your tracks. And so the way you avoid them is by going slow, making sure your body is warm before you go into intense poses. And then honor your natural limitations. So as you see over time, while I'm talking to you, I'm able to move my left foot closer and closer. And then I can work on sitting up more and more, drawing my heart center towards that leg. And none of this really hurts. I just feel the tension of a stretch, but I don't feel pain. But I worked with my body. I took the time to respect my body's need to open up gradually. Let's just sit with this for a couple more breaths. And then go ahead. Release your left leg out. And then with care, take your right foot off of your left leg. You might have felt tingling sitting there for a long time. Your hands might be feeling it. I know mine are. Then go ahead and take your left ankle and cross it over your right knee. Again, leaning back, sitting up nice and tall. That's to start. So this side I'm way more open on, and I can move a little bit more fast into the more extended version of this. And I will, because I can. But you can take your time. Again, gauge how you feel. Each time you move that foot closer to your hip, your right foot closer to your right hip, each time you do that, sit with it for a second. Let your body settle into it. Go ahead and bring that right heel back again if you want. Continuing to flex your left foot back, drawing your left toes back towards your left knee to protect your knee joint. So remember, I've always told you that yoga means balance. We're always trying to balance our body. It's a metaphor for life too, because we're trying to balance our lives, never doing too much or too little of anything. But in yoga, we definitely want balance equal, left to right, because it's the imbalances that will reveal the problems in our body and will lead to injury. Let's gradually release out of that pose. With care, take your right ankle off of your left knee, or your left ankle off of your right knee, rather. Just talking with somebody last night about how we do that. Okay, let's go ahead and make our way into Shavasana. So go ahead and lay all the way down. Oh, I've got the sun right in my face. First, let's bring our knees up to our nose and go ahead and hug our knees tightly. And go ahead and lay back down. Make your shins so that they're parallel to the sky or to the ground. Place your hands out on either side and just sit here for a moment. This is strengthening your core. Draw your belly button down to the mat as you push your knees away. Both of your shoulders firmly on the mat. This is really helping your core a lot. You may not know it, but it really is. And then go ahead and drop your knees to the right, engaging in a nice reclined spinal twist. Inhale. Bring your shins up again. Remembering, draw your belly button down to the mat as you push your knees forward. The more you push them, the more you keep your shins parallel to the ground or to the sky, the more you draw your belly button in, the more you are increasing the strength. And then go ahead and drop your knees to the left. Again, keeping your right shoulder tacked on the ground, looking out over your right hand if you want. Go ahead and lift up your legs. Why don't you go ahead and take happy baby? So to do happy baby, take your hands in between your legs and then reach for the edges of your feet, pulling your knees down to your heart or to your outside of your body, basically. So outside of your ribs. And this is just a nice way to wrap up, opening up the hips, stretching out the lower back. You can rock your baby if you want. And then now find your way into Shavasana, stretching out your legs. And go ahead, hands facing the sky. Adjust your shoulders so that they are underneath, more on your back to create space for your upper back. You might adjust a little bit so that your sacrum is more balanced on the ground. And let's scan the body, starting with the crown of the head. Relax your hair, relax the skin on top of your head. Moving down to your forehead, relaxing all of the skin across the forehead, smoothing out the line. Moving down to your eyes, allow them to kind of fall deeply into your eye sockets, relaxing the muscles of the bridge of the nose and your cheeks. Relaxing the skin above your ears. Relaxing your ears. Continuing moving downward. Relaxing your jawline and your lip. Bringing that relaxation down to your neck. Allow your shoulders to fall heavily into the mat as you widen your collarbones and relax all of those muscles across the chest. Relaxing your upper arms and your forearms and your hands. And continuing that relaxation into your ribs, allowing them to fall against the mat. Allowing your belly to hollow out and become soft and fleshy. Allowing the mat to fully support your hips, relaxing your hips. Relaxing the lower belly. Continue to relax your upper thighs. Space above your knees. Continue to draw the scanning down past your kneecaps to your shins and to your calf muscles. Commanding all of those parts to relax and then moving to your ankles, relaxing your ankles and your feet and your toes. Continue to lay here in Shavasana, focusing on slowing down your breath. Draw your energy to Ajna, your third eye. Affirm to yourself, I see. I see clearly. I trust my intuition. I trust my judgment. Continue to affirm those thoughts to yourself as you lay here in Savasana. All righty. I know there was a lot of motorcycle sound going by. Apparently they're taking advantage also of the good weather. So wherever you drifted off to, I invite you to join me in the present. Go ahead and start to awaken the body. Wiggle the toes, wiggle the hands. Maybe start to flutter your eyes open. Take a big stretch. Go ahead and roll to one side or the other. Pause. And then go ahead and rise up and join me in seated position. Go ahead and touch your finger to your tongue. And go ahead again and touch the third eye with your forefinger, reminding you of this chakra. Inhale, rise our hands up. Exhale, bring your hands down. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, hands down. And then one more. Inhale, our hands up. Exhale, bring your hands to Ajna, your third eye. And then bring them down to heart center. So I'll try a new position next week. Normally I would have been up at the top, but it was filled with tables today. So I couldn't set up over there, but I'll try the stairs next time. Maybe that'll provide a little bit of noise insulation. Thank you for joining me this morning. It's always a delight to spend my Saturday mornings with you guys. Inhale, exhale, bow over your hands. The yogi in me honors the yogi in you. The light in me joins with the light in you. Namaste.